Hello and welcome to part 1 of my 2024 makeup favourites. I filmed this video over 2 days and when I went to edit it, it was just so long. And because I do everything on my phone, if I was to export and upload such a long video on my phone, it would just take so long. So I just decided to break it up into 2 videos and that way hopefully it'll be a little bit more digestible. So this part is going to be primer, foundation, concealer, bronzer, corrector, what else? Brows, eyeshadow, eyeliner, all of that kind of stuff. And then the next part of the video will be everything else. I was going to insert footage of me applying the products, but instead I'm going to link to any videos that I have of me applying any of these products, and those will all be in the description box. So hopefully that means that you can find the videos and watch them in more detail if you so wish. So there is a lot to get through. It's going to be a long video, so let's get into it. So I'm going to do this in order of how I apply the products. So I'll begin with primer. I went back through all of my Instagram posts from the start of the year up until now, and just to see kind of what products I had been using and if there was any that I'd kind of like had gone to the back of my mind. When I was looking at the primers that I used, one stuck out kind of more than others. I wouldn't say I'm a huge primer person. I like to use them, but I don't find it a necessity. It's only really if maybe your skin is acting up and you need to like add more hydration or mattify certain areas of your skin. I don't think you necessarily need a primer. If you're prepping your skin appropriately with skincare and your skin is, I suppose, behaving itself, then you shouldn't really need a primer. But I do like to use them on occasion, and a lot of these kind of have been sent to me, so I've just tested them out, of course. The one that really stuck in my mind was the YSL Touche Éclat Blur Primer. It's like almost like a jelly kind of a texture. You can kind of see how little is left in that, and it has the little gold flecks in it. I've had this for maybe a year and a half or so, but it's just the primer that I find kind of does a bit of everything. It blurs, as the name suggests, it blurs and adds a little bit of hydration and just kind of perfects the skin before you use foundation. So I actually can't really pump any more of this out. That's the one thing I would say about it, is it comes in a pump. You can kind of see how much is left in that, and I could probably get a good few uses out of that, but it's really hard to pump them out. So I'm going to try and find a way that I can get that out. But it's just a primer that I find, if I want my makeup to really last and look extra perfected. It's an expensive primer, so it's not something that I'm going to use every single day, but it's the product that I go to when I want my makeup to look a little bit more perfected than usual. You know, it blurs my pores a little bit, it adds a bit of hydration, and it just kind of, I suppose, makes my makeup last longer while still looking great. This is particularly lovely with any kind of a long wearing foundation. The Lisa Eldridge foundation is amazing with this. The Lancome Teint Idole, the Bare Minerals Bare Pro, any foundation like that, this is a great one to use underneath that, just to kind of give it an extra little boost. It's just the primer that I feel really does make a difference to my makeup. And if, depending on your skin type and your needs, you may not like this, but it just, I found it really does make a difference. And it's the one primer out of kind of all of the ones that I have, apart from the other one I'm going to talk about, that really I would buy again. Even though it's expensive, it had lasted me for ages and I would actually repurchase it. The other primer that I really loved, and I had a small 10ml size of this, but I really love it, and it's the Vieve Skin Nova. I do want to buy a full size of this because I really like it. So it's like skin perfecting radiance primer and a hydrator. So it's a skincare makeup hybrid, and it has kind of like a slight gold tint to it, but it's very, very subtle when you apply it. I'm going to see if I can, oh yeah, that's it there. And I think I have a video using this, so you can kind of see how it kind of blurs your pores a bit. I think the golden sort of tint to it almost cancels out redness, evens out your skin tone, and makes your makeup look better. It's kind of more of a glowy and hydrating primer, and it's just one that I really loved. And when I finished this size, I was like so tempted to buy the full size, but I have so many other primers that I want to get through. So when I finish another one, I will probably buy a full size of this, because this and the YSL were the ones that I gravitated towards the most, and I found that they made most difference to my foundation. Okay, next, and one of the most exciting categories is foundation. When I went back and looked at all of my posts from the year, there was 2 foundations that really stuck out as the ones that I've used the most, and they are the Prada Reveal Skin and the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint. So these were my 2 most used on Instagram. I would say I use this more day to day. This is like more of a medium coverage, and it's a more soft matte kind of perfecting foundation, whereas this is like an everyday skin tint that just evens out your skin tone and looks really natural, and it's so easy to apply. So those were the 2 that really just stuck out to me as being favorites. If I was like, you know, doing a makeup application video, I would probably more go with this, because it does kind of perfect your skin a little bit more. But this was just such an everyday favorite. It's so easy to apply. It has that really thin consistency that just melts into your skin, and it doesn't get streaky. It just evens out your skin tone, but you can still see, I can still see my freckles, I can still see what my skin looks like. Kind of like for 2 eventualities, you know, you're kind of more, I suppose, formal going out medium coverage foundation that can be built up, and then the lighter coverage for every day. So this is kind of enough coverage for me most of the time, and then this is what I would use if I wanted maybe my makeup to look a little bit more perfect. But those were the 2 that really stood out to me, and they are ones that I would repurchase. Like, this is a bottle that you can get a refill for, so I would buy the refill for this 100%. And then they sent me 2 shades of these. I have T1 and T2, and T1 is more like my exact skin tone, and then T2 is more a little bit more brightening because it has a golden undertone, so it kind of like evens out my redness a little bit more. And then I have LC5 in this one, and that's a really good shade match for me as well. So that does make a difference. Yeah, I just love everything about these, like the packaging, ease of use, everything just I love. Very quickly, a few honourable mentions in the foundation category are, I'm nearly finished this. This is the It Cosmetics CC Cream. I was trying to make it my mission to finish this tube before the end of the year, and I've been using it so much lately, and it's just brought it back to the forefront of my mind and made me remember what an amazing foundation it is. It's one of those ones I don't have to worry about. It always applies well on my face no matter what my skin is doing, whether it's in the summer or it's like in the winter and it's a little bit more dry. This just always works really well. I have the shade Fair, and that's the one that I've used for the past 7 years, since I got this first in 2017, and I've been using it on and off, but I've generally always had a tube of this in my makeup collection. To me, this is just so reliable. I would maybe prefer something a little bit lighter in the shade, but I think the shade below this is a bit too pale for me. So, but this works really well. It also has SPF 50 in it. It says it's full coverage. I don't find it to be like super full coverage. I would say it's more like a medium coverage. I don't apply a lot of it because I, don't need to. It's just one that kind of like came back into the rotation of using it every day, and it's just such a great product. I actually have a backup of this from a press drop, and I will be opening that soon and keeping that in my rotation because I just love it so much. And like I said, I've used it for 7 years now, and it's just one of those reliable products that never lets me down. It always looks amazing. 2 other ones that I just quickly wanted to mention: Shiseido Synchro Skin Refreshing Foundation, and I have the shade 140 Porcelain. This is such a great shade match for me. It's also got SPF 30 and it's oil free, but I find this is again one of those foundations that I wear if I want my foundation to look a little bit more perfected and to wear really well throughout the day. This is such a great one. and it's just one that I've had. This is my second bottle. I got given one by a friend and then I bought it because I loved it so much. The other one, which I haven't had as long in my collection, but it's the NARS Light Reflecting. I was also sent this. I got sent my first Pure from NARS this year, and it's just a gorgeous foundation. I have the shade Mont Blanc, which I think is maybe a touch too deep for me. I could probably do with the lighter shade, but it does work. And it is gorgeous formula. But I just wanted to mention those two because they are two other ones that I have loved this year. This one I don't use as often because it's a bit more full coverage, but this one is a lovely, if you like it, like a light coverage and really like glowy skin. This is a great one. For concealers and correctors, one that kind of was a real surprise to me this year was, this is the Cover Perfection Triple Pot Concealer from the brand The Same. And this is a Korean brand, and they have got, I think, 5 or 6 shades in this. You've probably, if you've watched one of my videos, you've probably seen me use this before, but it has like a brightening shade, a green color corrector, and then a concealer. And this just works so well. The corrector shade is great for brightening under my eyes. The green is like this kind of like desaturated green that is excellent for pinpoint concealing any red marks, and then I pop the concealer over it. And it just works so well on my skin tone. The formula is great, and it's going to last me for ages. But this was such a surprise product because it's something I never ever would have picked up myself. I didn't even know that this brand existed, and then I got sent it from Stylevana at the end of last year, and I don't think I really opened it until like maybe like February or March, maybe a little bit further into the year. And it just became such a favorite. I just use it every single day. I have my little pinpoint concealing brush that I use with this, and it just means that I can kind of apply something like the Eldridge skin tint and then just quickly pinpoint conceal any red marks that I have, because I do get quite dark red marks because I'm so pale if I get a spot or something. And it's just worked so well. The shades are just so great. So I absolutely love this, and my sister actually bought it as well because she saw me using it and she really liked how it looked, so I'm interested to see what she thinks. But it's just an amazing product, and I think it's like a €5 or €6. Like, it's so inexpensive. Absolutely love that. And I know that their liquid concealer also gets really good reviews, so I might have to try that as well. But this is like a firm favorite that I use every single day. As for other concealers, there are 2 that stick out in my mind, and they are the Kosas Revealer Concealer, and you can kind of see how much I've used of that. There isn't a lot left. It's mostly kind of around the sides. And then the other one is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Dark Spots. This is a corrector, or a concealer and serum, and it has caffeine, hyaluronic acid, and niacinamide. So I guess this is probably a little bit more of a medium to full coverage. It's not like a full coverage, but it's probably a bit more, yeah, medium buildable coverage. I would say this is like a light to medium, but you can build this up as well. This one is very good if you have dry under eyes. It's so hydrating. As the name suggests, it's like a serum concealer. Just kind of pat it on or use a brush or a sponge. It doesn't look dry. It's just such a great formula if you have more dry under eyes, which I do. So I love this, particularly paired with the like more light coverage products that I have, like the Eldridge skin tint or the NARS Light Reflecting. This just works really well with those products because it's not like a really full coverage, and it's such a nice light creamy texture. The only thing I don't like about it is the brush, which I don't really use because it's just kind of a bit too like hard. It's just not a great brush, and it's so hard to clean as well, so I don't bother with that. But that's just such a great product if you were looking for a concealer for dry skin. That's really great. The Kosas one, I kind of went back and forth with this. I wouldn't say either of these are perfect. I haven't found my like holy grail perfect concealer. I have ordered the House Labs one, and I'm very hopeful for that. I've been looking for a concealer to use for my wedding makeup, and I'm hoping that the House Labs one is going to be the one for me. It's not perfect. It can be. I do find I really have to hydrate my under eyes for this to work, and I do apply it with one of the Real Techniques mini Miracle Complexion sponges. So I just pat it on, and I find that applies it the best. If I use this with a brush, I find that it can look a little bit kind of dry throughout the day. So neither of them are perfect, but they're the ones that I have been loving the most out of all the concealers that I have. So I just wanted to mention those two. Okay, next up is the sculpting products. So contouring, bronzing products, and this is going to be short and sweet because there are only two. The one for contouring that I use is the Colorgram Reforming Contour Stick. Again, this has a little brush at the end similar to the It Cosmetics one, which I don't use because it's just too stiff and it doesn't really work well for me. But it's a kind of a thin, like pencil style contour that just fits really easily under my cheekbones, and the tone of it is just that little bit more cool than the Fenty one. I still really love the Fenty one, but that's more of a like bronzer shade for me, because even though it is cool toned, it does go slightly warm on me. So I just prefer the shade of this for a like soul contour product. It's also so inexpensive, and I think it's probably going to last me for ages because there's such a lot of product in it. This is the shade 02 Cool Tone. They also have a warm tone one, but it's just such a great product, and it's one that I was making an order on EYESHADOW, and I decided to get this, and it just has been one of those products that I've used every single day, and I find it hard to use my Fenty one now. I'm gonna have to obviously use that up as well, but this has kind of like overtaken it, and you just can't beat the price of this one as well. It's really creamy and blends out really easily. It has enough warmth in it that it looks natural. I've really loved this, and I'm so glad that I discovered it this year because it's just worked so well for my skin tone. The bronzing product, I suppose, or like warming product that I've used the most is the Makeup by Mario Softsculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. A mouthful, but this is how mine looks. Kind of looks like a smiley face, but you can see that is so gross, and like it's pretty much on its last legs. I'm not really getting much out of it anymore because it's like almost gone. I don't think I got this that long ago, like maybe a year and a half or so, and I've used it almost every day, and like that is really well loved. But what I love about this is it is a great shade. This is the shade Light, and it's really ideal for my skin tone, and the description on the back says all over warming complexion tint. So I use this in lieu of a bronzer because bronzers are always too pigmented for me. They're too kind of orange on me. This just works so well. It's a really nice kind of a balmy texture, a little bit more sheer. So it's really hard to overdo it with this. And what I like to do is just kind of go on the areas where my freckles would be enhanced. So kind of like here, 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 you know, there, and just warm up my face a little bit, because sometimes when I apply a foundation that's the exact colour of my skin tone, it can make me look a little bit ghostly. So this just gives my face a little bit of dimension and warmth without being like I'm wearing bronzer, that kind of a look. So it's just an excellent product, and I would recommend it to anybody who likes a cream or a liquid product. It's just so good. I was going to buy another one during the Black Friday sale because I think they had like 30% off, so it was a really good price. But I do have two other bronzers that I'm trying to use up before I repurchase this. I have got an e.l.f. one and a Fenty one, and I do really like those as well. This is so easy that it just blows the other two out of the water. The shade, the texture, the opacity, and then the ease of use as well. The only thing I don't like about it is that it does get really gross really easily when you stick your brush in it, like it just does. The only way to combat that, I suppose, would be to take a little bit out on a spatula, but like really, who has the time? You just have to kind of accept that it's going to be a bit gross looking, but it's just such a great product. I like cannot recommend it enough. It's just been the thing that has gotten me into, I suppose, bronzing, because I don't really bronze, I don't tan, so it looks unnatural on me, but this just warms up my complexion without being too much, and I just love it for that. It's such a unique product, and it's just amazing. Okay, brows are next, and again, this is going to be quite short and sweet. The two brow products that have stood out to me are they're both from NYX, and one of them is the Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen, and the other one is the Micro Brow Pencil. They are both in the shade Ash Brown. This one is kind of a weird one because I've had this for a long time, and I thought it was kind of nearly empty. And so I kind of stopped using it, and then I started using it again, and it just seemed to get a new lease of life. So I think it was maybe the way I was storing it. I think I was maybe storing it up instead of storing it down. So this is still going, and I've had it for like well over a year. I'm on my second or third one. I think maybe it's the second one, or I don't know. No, it must be the third one. I don't know. Anyway, this is like such a great brow pencil. It has the really super thin nib. It's a really good colour for my brows, and I use this actually for doing faux freckles as well, because it's just really good at doing that. And then it has a spoolie on the end. So this is if I want a little bit more of a kind of a natural, like wispy brow, and then this one kind of fills them in a little bit more, but you can use this fairly naturally as well. They're just two products that I will repurchase again and again unless I find something better, but I just don't feel the need to go and investigate other products because these are so good and they're so inexpensive as well. So two firm favorites. And then for brow gel, I still love my trusty Soap Brows Extra Strong Hold. This is still going strong. I probably do need to kind of, I mean, look, there's so much in that. I've done a good dent in it, but there's still so much, and it's still a product that I love. I just think you cannot beat this for value and for hold. But I did also use, this is almost used up. This is the Kosas Air Brow, and this is the shade medium brown. Yeah, medium brown. So you can kind of see that I have been like scraping the sides of this. I don't think I'm going to get much more use out of it, but it is a tiny little brush, very similar to Glossier Boy Brow. I prefer this. I think this is less money. I know I bought it from Cult Beauty when they had money off, but yeah, there's a whole gap there where I've used it up. Similar to Boy Brow, it just kind of gives your eyebrows a bit of a tint, but it doesn't, the tint doesn't get all around the skin around your eyebrows, which I'm using another brow gel at the moment, and that is, I just don't like it. It's too liquidy, whereas this is more of a kind of a pomade, stiffer texture, so it adheres to your brows rather than going on the skin around your brows. I find with the other one I have, it's a little bit too liquidy, so I find it like kind of gets here and here, and then it makes my eyebrows look a bit muddy. This is one that, to be honest, I probably will repurchase this. I do have one from a Korean brand on the way to me. It's a brow gel from Unleashia, but it's not tinted. And I do like to have a tinted brow gel for when I'm like getting ready like super quickly and I don't want to like fill in my brows. So to be honest, I'm probably going to repurchase this because I loved it so much. Yeah, it's just and it's a great shade as well. It really holds my eyebrows, I have to say. This is definitely probably the best tinted brow gel that I've ever used. It's definitely replaced Boy Brow for me. Next up is eyes, which is a category that I just love. I kind of like went through all the looks that I've done this year, and I went through all of my collection, and I kind of just said, okay, what are the eye products that like spark joy? What are the eye products that, you know, when I sit down to make up, I'm like, oh, I really want to use that. I'm excited to use them. They're, you know, great formulas. They're reliable. They're fun. They're easy. Like, what are those products for me? And I have a whole bunch here, and I'm going to just talk about all of them. Most of them I've probably used on camera before, so you'll be able to see me applying them. I'm going to start with liquid eyeshadow, and one of my favorites, which is nearly gone completely, I'm scraping the sides of it again, is the Hindash Colour Fluid, and this is the shade Carve. I have got the full colour range. No, I don't have the full colour range of these. I have 4 of the shades. There is another one called Canvas, which is more of a kind of canvas shade, I guess, which I don't have, but I actually do want to get it because it looks like a great eyeshadow base. But this is like I guess a kind of a neutral mid-toned brown. I have it on today with some of the Hindash powder eyeshadow on top of it. But this is a product that is Again, it's just easy, it's reliable, it's a great shade, and it just works so well. You can use this mixed in with the other shades and mix it with like a liquid highlighter or something to make like a blush or a contour color or whatever. But I have mostly used this on my eyes. It's kind of my go-to base for a lot of kind of neutral-ish looks, and it's just such a great shade. It's pretty much on its last legs, like there is not much coming out on the applicator, but it's just so, I mean, look at that. You can tell that that is well loved. I have actually another one of these in my blush category because I prefer that as a blush shade, although I do use it on my eyes too. But these are a multi-use product that can be used anywhere on the face. So you can use them on eyes, cheeks, lips, you can use them as like your bronzer, your contour, all of that kind of stuff. Just an excellent product. I suppose similar to like the Armani eye tints, the new Lisa Eldridge ones. A lot of brands have these kind of products, but this is just such a great shade and lasts really well on me. And I just love it. I just think it's great. And I just find myself using it all the time. Another liquid formula I love, which will be a surprise to no one if you've watched my videos, are the Half Magic Chromaddictions. These are my two favorite shades. Sky Juice, that's that one. It's like a periwinkle blue purple shade. And this is Wild Caught, which is like a salmon pink. And these are just great bases for like a shimmer, glitter. If you want to do like a colourful liner, you can mix them together if you want. I like to wear these just blended out all over my eye with just like a shimmer on top, and it is a look all on its own. It's so easy and it lasts really well. They have some kind of more recent, I suppose, shades in these, like browns and kind of rusty shades, which look gorgeous, but these are my like OG ones that I've had for a while, and they actually haven't like dried out or anything. But yeah, Sky Juice and Wild Caught, two firm favorite liquid eyeshadows. I got sent some PR from Violette F4 earlier in the year, and they sent me along some of their Vieve paints with the skincare that they sent me. The two shades that have sparked my love of these again are these two, which is Dieu Bleu and Scarabée d'Or. So it's like, this is like an antique gold. It is exquisite on the eyes. I've worn it all over blended out. I've worn it in a graphic line. I've worn it as eyeliner. It is like incredible. And then this blue, like this is just a product that makes me happy. It's that kind of like Eve, is it Eve Klein blue? Like unbelievable, just as liner, or like blended out all over your lid as like a one and done, just statement eye look. And they last so well. They are pigmented, like they are really, like you need a small amount, but if you are looking for something fun that's long wearing, like I just cannot recommend these enough. They actually look really nice together. I must try that. Yeah, that has totally reignited my love for this product. I just think that her shades are so well thought out. They all just look incredible. These have been two that I have like gone for again and again because they're just a really nice, like even just doing one of these as eyeliner with like a really thin brush is just such a beautiful look all on its own. So those are two that I just absolutely love. The last liquid eyeshadow that I have here is the Lisa Eldridge Liquid Lurex in the shade Titania. I think that's how you say it. Is Titania a Shakespeare character? I suppose it's like an antique gold, but it's a bit warmer. It's quite similar to the Violette one, this one, but you can see the difference there. This is a lot more kind of like warm brown, whereas this is more, has a more kind of yellow green tint to it. But they're a similar idea. This is probably a bit easier to use, whereas this is kind of really pigmented and maybe a little bit more difficult to use, but equally as beautiful. This is just a great shade if you like. I loved wearing this with the Hindash Carve like blended out on my eyelid and then this on top, and that's, you're just done. Like that's just like the whole look. This is just probably like my most worn liquid Lurex shade, even though I have like most of them. I just love that colour. My sister has this as well and it's gorgeous, and she has blue eyes and it's really, really nice against her blue eyes. This is one that I'd definitely recommend if you want like an impactful kind of a smoky eye,
but without having to put too much effort into it. This is such a gorgeous shade. On the Lisa Eldridge note, I can't not include these because they are definitely two of my most used palettes, and they are Sorcery and Vega. I mean, look how much I've used of that. It is well loved. If I'm going away, I will usually take Vega with me because it's just such an easy palette to use. I still love these. Like I think I've had them for at least 2 years, and they are just still my favorites. I often will wear these two shades together. This shade on its own is beautiful. They're just so gorgeous. I just love the textures of them as well. And Vega, if I'm going to do like a cool toned eye look, you know, you might kind of look at that and think, oh, that's not very versatile, but like I've worn this on its own, this on its own. This black is amazing for like dark deepening up, you know, your lash line. This is a great topper shade, and then this is like a gorgeous kind of creamy metallic shade. They're just like just great. I just love them so much. I mean, you can see how well loved those are, but they are definitely two that when I was looking back on my posts from the year, they kept on coming up, so I had to mention those. Another eyeshadow palette that I have loved, which is one that I never would have bought myself, but this is the Unleashia Glitterpedia palette, and this was sent to me from Stylevana again. This one is called Olive Lavender Fog, and it's kind of like that mauve, dusty pink, kind of shimmery colour palette, but again, it's just such a lovely, easy palette to wear. The glitters are not necessarily like the best formula. These ones are a bit better, but the kind of chunkier glitters are a little bit kind of harder to work with. I don't use those as much, but I just love the mattes in this palette. I just think they're amazing, and I just find myself using this so much throughout the year. It's just, I don't know, it's just a really weird palette to love, but it just worked so well and was very easy, and again, it's just so inexpensive, but the formula is lovely. And so yeah, I loved that one also. Again, on the Hindash train, I have to, these are still two favorites. These have been like out of stock for a long time. Like I was worried for a while there. You can see how well loved this is. Probably not as much. I don't probably use this shade as much, and the red, but like the black, the brown, like this is such, I'm wearing this today, kind of the center, like it's a great neutral. This is beautiful as blush, and then this I use all the time, but just the formula, the fact that these are like multi-use products, you can use them all over the face, is great. And then there's a monochroma, and I don't use this one as much, but I mean I have used it quite a bit. Like these are beautiful blushes. I love this, just blended out all over my eyelid. This is a great neutral shade. They're just great. They're still two of my favorite palettes, and I'm hoping that they'll come back in stock soon, because I know that there are people who've been dying to get them. They're just amazing, and they work so well with the color fluid as well. But yeah, these are like two of my like prized possessions, and I love that you can do so much with them. Like you could just take one of these palettes away with you and kind of have like blush, eyeshadow, and you know, just they're just great. Another palette that I've loved, which I've had for over 2 years now, is Amaya Industrial 1. I just still love this. Still just such an amazing palette. I mean, you can see again that this is well loved. I often just wear like this shade on its own. I love this shade for kind of like blending things out. This is beautiful like on its own or over a deeper base. Love the metallics. Like this is such a gorgeous grungy shade. These two are beautiful. I have like a look that I did with those further back on my YouTube channel, but it's still a palette that excites me and that I want to use. I'll sit down and be like, I really feel like an Isabella look today. I didn't buy the second one, and I was raging that I didn't, but then it's been discontinued, so I'm kind of glad I didn't. This is still available, but this is just still one of my favorites. I just love how kind of like unusual the shades are, and every time I open it I feel inspired by it, and I want to, you know, just do like a really kind of a smudgy, messy look, and that's what this palette is perfect for. But you also have like such beautiful shades, like the greens, this kind of like rusty bronze is gorgeous. It's just like a beautiful palette. I'm I'm so glad that I bought it when I did. But like I said, I've had it for over 2 years, and I really have, I think, got my money's worth out of it because I absolutely love this palette. Now on to single eyeshadows. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to mention, kind of. I'm going to start with one that's probably, yeah, probably is my favourite. And that is an eyeshadow that I've hit pan on, but I've only had it since January. And that is Half Magic Blushing Lizard, which you can kind of see as kind of like a pink blue shift to it. I do still like love Wet Pebble. I love elven things. Like I really love this formula. The matte formula is beautiful as well, and it's an amazing topper for over all kinds of different bases. It's beautiful on its own. I've used it a good few times in application videos this year, and it's just like, it's just one of those like dopamine shades that like makes me happy and makes me, I'm like, today is a blushing lizard day. I feel like I want that iridescent, beautiful, like pink blue shift on my eyes. And it's a lot more versatile than you would think. Like I've worn this over the Half Magic liquid eyeshadows that I've mentioned. I wore it over the Hindash Carve. I did a video recently where I did it over that Prada taupe eyeshadow, and that was amazing. That's like one of my favorite looks of the year. You could also wear it over black or just on its own, and it is just so beautiful. Like so worth the hype. One of those viral products that I just think is really, really, truly worth it. And it's not that expensive. I think you can get it on Beauty Bay normally with a bit of a discount, but I mean, you can see how much I've used it. I mean, it's a small pan and it's one of those kind of creamy eyeshadows, but I've used it quite a bit and I just love it. Okay, a couple more single eyeshadows that I love. One of them I'm wearing today, and it's the Bodyography Glitter Pigment in the shade Celestial, and I am wearing it today. The Bodyography Glitter Pigments, I've been using them for about 5 years now, and I just love the formula. I love the shades. This is a really nice neutral gold that just looks beautiful on its own. It looks great over any eyeshadow. Like I have it over kind of like a mid-toned brown today. You can also build it up or just do like a light wash like I've done today, and it gives you either like a nice kind of a sparkle, or else you can do that wet look as well. But I just love it. Like if I'm looking for a kind of a neutral gold topper, this is kind of like my space cowboy. It's that like neutral-ish gold topper shade that just makes any look just a bit more magical. And let's do a little swatch. It's just so gorgeous. You can kind of see it in the light. It is just such a beautiful shade. If you like the Hourglass glitter pots or whatever, just get a Bodyography one. They're cheaper and they're better. I've had both and love the Bodyography ones. They're just so good. But that shade in particular, I have used a lot this year, just as a topper, and it's just amazing. This is a kind of a weird wild card one, and this is a Clarins eyeshadow, a single eyeshadow, and it is their Ombre Skin Intense Colour Powder eyeshadow. This is the shade 08 Pearly Raisin. I do have a video using this, but it is just such a beautiful shade. I'll show you how it looks. It is kind of like a, I guess like a purpley brown. It's one of those shades that just is so easy to wear. The formula is really smooth and flattering on your eyes. It looks darker than it is when you apply it on your eyes. You can just apply this over like a matte eyeshadow or just on its own, blend it out, and it blends out so easily. But it's just one of those eyeshadows that I found myself wearing loads when I wanted to kind of look, I wanted something on my eyes, but I didn't want to like do like a big look. It just was really nice. It kind of has that little purpley plummy hint to it, but it's still like brown, and just really easy, blends out so easily. And actually it looks really nice with Celestial. That would be a lovely pairing. It's just a real kind of like surprise shade that I never would have really would have looked at it, because I'm not really a single eyeshadow kind of a person, but it just has been one of those ones that I've used a lot this year. This is a shade that I bought at the end of last year, and it is the Victoria Beckham Lid Luster in the shade Tea Rose. This is like, I mean, it's kind of hard panned on me because I've used it so much, but it is, again, it's such a gorgeous shade. I'm going to try and see if I can swatch that beside the Clarins one. Yeah, it actually is the same kind of a vibe to the Clarins one, but it's a little bit more maybe pinky and there's more sparkle in it. But again, it's just such an easy shade to wear. It goes with so much. I have a couple of videos, I think, using this, but it's just like, I mean, the packaging is gorgeous. It has this little stopper in it. Yeah, I got this in the Black Friday sale last year because they are so expensive, but like, look at that. Is so beautiful. It's just such a gorgeous shade, and I find it goes with so much. Like, I think it's one of those shades that like you can wear it with neutral lipstick or with like a red lipstick and it's not going to be like too much, because it is quite, you know, you can do a sheer wash or you can build it up with your finger, and it's just like so gorgeous. The last eyeshadow I'm going to mention is an Irish brand called Anam Cosmetics, and they made these 3 shades, gold, taupe and teal. I would say that the teal is probably my favorite, but I probably worn the taupe one the most. This is the teal. Again, I have a look using this. This is less of a shimmer and more of an actual glitter. But if you want something fun, it's just so gorgeous. It's like a real mermaid shade. I'll show you the taupe and the gold. I have a couple of videos actually using these. This is the taupe shade and that's that one. They all have a bit of a base to them. It is a glitter rather than like a shimmer. So it's a biodegradable glitter, and that's the gold one. They are so beautiful. But again, they're just easy. I love the fact that it is an Irish brand. They're like that real kind of like a wet look shimmer. And it's like an eyeshadow look all on its own, but they're just really beautiful eyeshadows. If you like glitter and you don't like using like plastic glitter, it's nice that these are biodegradable and they're made in Italy. So, you know, it's good. I think they're just so beautiful. I commented on their Instagram last week and I was like, please make a silver or like a pewter or like a gunmetal color. I think that would be so gorgeous. So yeah, I'm really hoping that they come out with more shades this year because I just love the formula and I love the packaging is so cute and beautiful formula and really just an impactful eye look in one eyeshadow, which is always something that I appreciate. I'm gonna go for eyeliner next. The pencil liners that I've loved the most this year, surprise to no one, the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Glide. I have the 3 shades that I've used the most are Cinder Smoke, which is the grey kind of charcoal shade, and Burnt Umber, which is this kind of warm brown, and then Ground Coffee, which is this kind of cooler, deeper brown. So those are the 3 shades that I've used the most. They are so smooth, so creamy. They don't irritate my eyes at all. I can just apply them on my waterline, I can apply them anywhere and they don't drag or irritate my eyes, which is something that I really appreciate because I do have quite sensitive eyes. You can blend them out really quickly and easily, and then they do set. They're not like waterproof, but they will set. I often just do a little weighing on the outside and I just love them. I just think that they're great. It's such a gorgeous formula. It's so nice to have something that just doesn't irritate my eyes at all. And on that note, there is another Irish brand that I'm going to mention, and this is Hildon Beauty, and you can see how much I've used of this because you can't really see the name anymore with the cap closed. But this is the Silk to Set Kajal liner. This is the shade Chocolate, so it's quite similar to Lisa Eldridge Ground Coffee, but it's again just such a smooth, creamy formula. I have it on my eyes today and then I have some liquid liner over it, but it's that similar formula to the Lisa Eldridge or the Victoria Beckham. Victoria Beckham I don't like as much, but like these are such a good price for the formula. They're very, very similar to the Lisa Eldridge, but this is less expensive. If you wanted to have that similar creamy, smooth formula without paying the Lisa Eldridge price, these I think are €18 and they often have like discount codes and that kind of thing. They have some beautiful shades. They have one I think that's called Blaze, which is like a warm kind of a cranberry shade, and then they have one that's called Pecan, which is like a lighter brown, and then they're just after releasing one which is a silver, which I like have to get because it looks so gorgeous. And they just came out with a couple of eyeshadow palettes as well, which look beautiful. These are made in Germany, which is the same as the Lisa Eldridge ones, the same as the Victoria Beckham. So they are just a really beautiful formula, but for a fraction of the price of the Victoria Beckham or the Lisa Eldridge. So I really cannot recommend this enough. This was given to me by my friend Celine. She had a spare one and she wanted me to try it, and I'm so glad she sent it to me because I'm 100% going to be buying more shades of this as I need them. They're also vegan, which is so important because the amount of eyeliners that I've used that have carmine in them, I mention this all the time, but it is relevant. I have a sensitivity to the ingredient carmine, which is a like non-vegan ingredient that's in a lot of eyeshadows and eyeliners, and I really appreciate that these are vegan so I can use it in my waterline as well. But yeah, 100% recommend these. As for liquids, I have two. One is brown and one is black. The black one is the Lisa Eldridge Kitten Flick. This is like the thinnest liquid liner nib, and it's such a great formula as well. I don't do a black cat eye as much anymore, but when I do, I like this kind of brush, this kind of formula. It's just so good. Like if you want to do a really thin black line along your lash line, this is like just such a great brush tip and really easy to control and to use. So I definitely highly rate that one. The other one is brown because I wanted to try a brown liquid liner because I never have before, but this is the Clio Super Proof Brush Liner in the shade Kill Brown. I've used a Clio mascara before. They have really like long wearing products, and this is again thin nibbed brush tip liner, and I have this again on today, but it's just a little bit more soft than like the black one. I think I'm hoping that Lisa Eldridge will do a brown in her formula because I think that a lot of people would love that. But if you were looking for a brown liner that lasts so well, like this really is like such a long lasting liquid liner, this is amazing. And their mascaras are brilliant too, but again, I think this is like a tenner. It's like such good value. I got this from Style Van, but it's just such a great liquid liner, and I just have found myself gravitating towards brown more because I just think it's a little bit less harsh on me. It's a great one. It's just top-notch product. The last liner I'm going to mention, which is one that I've used like almost every time I've done my makeup, and I still have so much left, but it's the Victoria Beckham Instant Brightening Waterline Pencil. It's a creamy pencil. I have to do this like old school YouTube thing, but it's like a creamy waterline pencil that just really brightens up your eyes. If you are having kind of redness, if you're feeling that you look a little bit tired, this is a great pencil for just kind of like lifting your eyes a little bit, and I just find myself using it all the time. It's great because it's not a white or a pink, it's like that kind of creamy shade where it doesn't look jarring, and you just need a very small amount of it. And it is, yeah, it's just one of those products that I don't know if I would have necessarily bought it, but because it was on sale and I had kind of heard some good things about it, I decided to get it, and it's like one of my most used products of the year. Definitely worth looking at if that is a concern to you, or you would like something to kind of brighten your eyes a little bit. That's definitely worth having a look at. So that was part one of my 2024 makeup favorites. I hope you enjoyed it or got something out of it. Thank you for taking the time to watch or listen to this video. I know it was a long one, so if you've made it this far, fair play. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it, and leave me a comment and let me know if there's any of these products that you've tried, or if you have any recommendations for me. And I will see you very soon with part 2 of my 2024 makeup favorites.